Day 4 of NFL free agency is here, and the absolute chaos ripping through our secondary has completely turned this roster inside out. We are bleeding fan-favorite defensive weapons today, all while our biggest division rival just secured an absolute wildcard quarterback who could turn our upcoming season into a living nightmare. Grab a seat, because we have a mountain of heartbreaking departures, massive contracts, and shocking division shifts to unpack. If you want to survive the absolute roller coaster of this off-season with me, make sure you smash that like button, share this video, and hit subscribe right now so you never miss a breaking update. Let's rip the band-aid right off and talk about the departure that has half the fanbase absolutely screaming at their screens today. We are officially losing Jaquan Brisker. Our former second-round pick is packing his bags and heading back to the state where he played his college ball at Penn State. He just inked a one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the price tag is exactly what is making so many of you furious. $5.5 million. That is it. It became pretty obvious that the massive multi-year bags just were not going to materialize for him. He was destined for a short-term, prove-it deal. But ask yourself honestly, are you truly shocked that the front office let him walk for what feels like pocket change? I see the comments. Everyone is screaming about why we did not just match that microscopic contract. But we have to look at the brutal, undeniable facts. Jaquan will always be remembered as a guy who delivered pure entertainment, but he is also a massive what-if in our franchise history. First, you cannot ignore his terrifying concussion history. That was a gigantic roadblock to a lucrative second contract. I give the man his flowers for playing all 17 games this past year, and his performance against the Rams was arguably his absolute peak. But the second reason the front office wiped their hands clean of him is that he is a liability in coverage. Quarterbacks posted a staggering 120 passer rating against him. Yes, he is a hammer in the box who blitzes with pure violence. But defensive coordinator Dennis Allen demands versatility. Both safeties must be able to seamlessly cover the deep end of the field. Brisker bleeds explosive plays on the back end. Allen relies on complex disguises, and you cannot run exotic schemes if you are terrified your safety will get toasted in man coverage. Pittsburgh is a phenomenal fit for him, but he simply does not fit our future. I have been screaming from the rooftops that we needed a veteran safety. We watched the front office swing at Coby Bryant, but he signed with New England. So, they dropped a massive bag on Coby Bryant, 3 years, $40 million. That is a huge investment in a dynamic playmaker who fits this new defense perfectly. But Coby cannot play the entire secondary alone. They are absolutely going to draft a young, hungry prospect to line up next to him. With the draft only 6 agonizing weeks away, the speculation is driving me insane. Brisker is not the only physical presence walking out the door. Gardner Johnson is officially gone as well, heading to the Buffalo Bills on a one-year deal worth up to $6 million, reuniting with D.J. Moore. Honestly, this move does not shock me. The second we signed Cam Lewis as a backup hedge for Kyler Gordon, the writing was on the wall. You simply do not pay a backup up to $6 million in today's market. Plus, as Dennis Allen leaned into heavy man coverage late in the year, it became painfully obvious that Gardner Johnson cannot hold up in one-on-one situations. Remember how viciously the Packers picked on him with slants. I will forever give him respect for saving our defense mid-season, but he was always a temporary band-aid. This is his 6th team in 5 years. Teams love his energy at first, but they always get exhausted by the circus. Before we move on to the most terrifying news of the day, I need to hear from you for our question of the day, between losing Jaquan Brisker to Pittsburgh or letting C.J. Gardner Johnson walk to Buffalo, which defensive departure makes you more furious and why? Drop your rants in the comments below right now because I am reading every single one. Alright, strap in, because an absolute bombshell just dropped in the NFC North. Kyler Murray is officially a Minnesota Viking. And the details of this contract are absolutely mind-blowing. He signed a one-year, veteran minimum deal. How on earth did Minnesota pull that off? because of the offset language in his previous contract. The Arizona Cardinals are still on the hook to pay him an astronomical $37 million this season. Because the Cardinals are paying the massive bill, Kyler has absolutely no incentive to sign for anything higher than the minimum. Unless J. McCarthy suddenly transforms into an All-Pro overnight, Kyler Murray is a massive, undeniable upgrade at quarterback for them. Yes, the last few years of his career have been completely derailed by brutal injuries, but when he is on, his ceiling is terrifyingly high. He is electric, uniquely athletic, and has an absolute cannon for an arm. Kevin O'Connell built this Vikings offense around dropping back and layering precision throws over the deep middle of the field. Kyler can make those throws, but at barely 5'9", there are physical limitations to him seeing over massive defensive linemen. How heavily does O'Connell completely rewrite his playbook? He has to lean into Kyler's magic, design rollouts, and let him freelance, while Kyler must prove he can operate as a disciplined pocket passer. It is a fascinating experiment. But here is your massive silver lining: we just backed up the Brinks truck for Coby Bryant, and his absolute favorite hobby is terrorizing Kyler Murray. He has picked off Kyler multiple times. It is a brilliant move by our front office to sign the ultimate Kyler Murray kryptonite right before he enters our division. But make no mistake, Minnesota has instantly become the most dangerous wild card in the NFL. We are about to witness whether Kyler Murray can rebuild his shattered image and force the Vikings to make him their long-term franchise savior. His contract includes a strict no franchise tag clause. If he balls out, they either have to hand him a blank check or watch him walk away for nothing. These next 10 to 12 months are going to be pure theater, and I sincerely hope our defense absolutely kicks their teeth in. So, who should the front office target next? I completely understand the deep frustration pulsating through this fanbase. Watching beloved players walk out the door for cheap feels like a punch to the gut. But take a deep breath. The front office is hunting for a very specific, elite prototype to rebuild the secondary. If we somehow sleepwalk through 4 rounds of the upcoming NFL draft without picking a single safety, then sound the alarm. If that happens, we will be forced to scrape the bottom of the barrel for a veteran. But I trust the process. I truly believe they have a master plan to draft an absolute stud and make this defense a nightmare for the rest of the league.